This is ABC15 Arizona at 5.
Now at 5, a road turned into a rushing river.
Our monsoon storms bringing severe flash flooding to parts of Arizona. Families feeling hopeless.
It's terrifying. It happens. It's the fourth time that this has come through, and every time it's worse. And so, like I said, we rush home to try to man pumps and rebuild walls where the water's reaching.
Tonight, one neighborhood trying to clear the debris. At one point, it was moving down the street.
Our team's right there on the ground covering the story and taking time to comfort those heartbroken homeowners.
Our top story tonight taking us to Flagstaff with that severe flash flooding, all caused by runoff from the museum fire burn scar.
And our Nicole Grigg live with the very latest for us. Nicole, it's just dramatic to watch.
It was scary, to be honest with you, watching that all come down, and now everyone is left to clean up. Take a look at this mud. They've been trying to clear it out for the past few hours, but you can see how thick it still is. And then the homeowners over here, they are adding more sandbags to try to get that barricade higher up because they know that rain is supposed to come again, especially tomorrow. So everyone working together, but we have to get to that video. This is the video our cameras capturing as the floodwaters made its way down the museum fire burn scars. That water just so powerful as it makes its way down neighborhood streets. This is around East Linda Vista Drive. It's an area that has been hit repeatedly now by flash flooding. Now, we have been here all afternoon, and homeowners who spoke with us as this flooding was happening, you'll see just how emotional this is for so many of them.
It's terrifying. It happens. It's the fourth time that this has come through, and every time it's worse. And so, like I said, we rush home to try to man pumps and rebuild walls where the water's reaching. And I have to call the schools and tell them, pull my kid out of class because they probably heard the alarms go off, and they're probably terrified because they've been here. When this has happened, and say under no circumstances can you let my child walk home from school. I have two kids who on either direction go to school within a mile up here, and it's terrifying, and it's going to happen again and again and again until something is done.
And so you can hear just how emotional and heartbreaking this is. People living inside of homes, paying a mortgage, but they can't even stay here because of what it looks like, what keeps happening. You can see more sandbags right here. They're going to load them up, take them down the road as well. Everyone kind of just helping each other. And Katie, I am only up here because I found out that FEMA was doing a pre-damage assessment. So we were on the ground in Coconino County going along with them today. And just right after we broke away from FEMA, they're looking at the damage from the last time this happened, looking at public infrastructure only, not the private homeowners. But right after we broke off from them, we were doing the interviews for our story, and then the rain started. That's when the homeowners were like, it's coming down too hard. You can't leave. They told us where to park our car right up the road, and they told us, get behind the sandbags. We can't leave. You can't leave at this point. And so we stayed with them and documented that whole entire process.
Yeah, and your home is supposed to be a safe place, a place of refuge, and this is just terror as they rush to make sure their kids are okay and their home is okay. We're definitely thinking of all of them tonight. And Nicole, glad you and the crew are safe as well. Right.
Big story at 6, the monsoon showing its strength.
Yeah, storms hitting across Arizona tonight, the aftermath, and of course, what comes next.
We start though in the high country, just a devastating muddy mess, floodwaters racing off wildfire burn scars, pummeling some Flagstaff communities.
Our Nicole Grigg was with a family at their home when that water rushed in. She starts our team coverage live for us tonight. Nicole, how do things, first of all, look right now?
I mean, it is just such a mess, not only in this area that I am, but I'm told across the Flagstaff area, but I'm kind of stuck in this area right now. I haven't even been able to get to the car and try to drive on the outskirts yet, but I want to show you some of this damage. I mean, the water came this way. You can see that this sign right here was taken out, And really quick, this is the area where that flooding comes down before coming towards Flagstaff. You can see those little metal barricades right there. They are there to try to stop the debris, but I can tell you that it went past this and kept going into the town. As soon as the rain started, it turned into a mass effort to protect homes.
We're bouncing back and forth between watching the radar, watching the meters, and watching the cameras, just waiting for it to hit again.
You didn't know when we were talking. It was after this moment we got a fourth alert that the floodwaters would be coming down the burn scars at any minute. We watched as that powerful water made its way down, taking over the streets. Homeowners and friends working to keep the water from breaching a wall of sandbags.
It's terrifying. It happens. It's the fourth time that this has come through, and every time it's worse. And so, you know, like I said, we rush home to try to man pumps and rebuild walls where the water's breaching. And I have to call the schools and tell them, you know, pull my kid out of class because they probably heard the alarms go off and they're probably terrified because they've been here, you know, when this has happened. And say, under no circumstances can you let my child walk home from school. You know, I have two kids who on either direction go to school within a mile of here, and it's terrifying. And it's going to happen again and again and again until something is done.
I mean, any parent feels that moment right there. Nicole, you were there when all that water came rushing through in those streets. We see the pictures here, you all talking and even comforting that homeowner you were with. Can you take us inside that moment on the emotions of being there? It's overwhelming.
I mean, you can't help but feel for these people. I mean, actually, they were reaching out to us for the past week, asking for help. And it just so happened, I said, you know what, I'm coming up today. I heard FEMA was going to be in town doing pre-damage assessment. And right after I got broke away from FEMA, I found the families, the homeowners, talking with them. It started raining. As soon as it started raining, shortly after that, that's when we got that alert. And they were like, you cannot leave at this time. You have to stay here with us because that water is going to come within 20 minutes. So, you know, they were here making sure that I was safe. My photographer, Danny, was safe. But they were also worrying about their houses. You saw them moving sandbags, and it was really all hands on deck.
Yeah, an incredible scene out there, and we just see all that mud and debris behind you there. Just a massive cleanup underway. We are glad all of you are safe tonight. Nicole, thank you. But we begin with monsoon 2021 and a relentless stretch of severe weather in our state. All kinds of damage in the valley from our latest round and major flooding in Flagstaff. A wildfire burn scar filling up with rushing water. Neighbors left scrambling, trying to protect their homes. And our cameras right there to capture it all. A dangerous situation, and this flooding threat is not over yet.
ABC 15's Nicole Grigg is in Flagstaff for us as neighbors there are still on alert.
Stay at school, and under no circumstance do you walk home. Do you understand? Do not leave school, no matter what.
We watched as Kim Kaler, in her scrubs, jump over the sandbags as it was pouring. She knew the clock is ticking, having to leave her job as an ICU nurse because she knows flooding is coming.
Every time at work when it does this and the alarms go off, kind of have to leave because there's nobody here.
My photographer and I watched helplessly for nearly 2 full hours as homeowners tried to move sandbags to protect their homes.
It's terrifying, and it's going to happen again and again and again until something is done.
The water so ferocious, taking anything in its path. And as the floodwaters receded, there's devastation left behind. Public Works officials bringing more pallets of sandbags for homeowners to add on top of the sandbags that they already have. There is that chance of more storms tomorrow, so homeowners working as quick as they can to stack them back up. Sadly, the sandbags and concrete barriers did nothing for Kurt Draw's home off Linda Vista Drive. I was just in Flagstaff 3.5 weeks ago, talking to him, cleaning out the same type of mud and water in his home.
You know, the house is worth zero. So.
This was your life.
But there's, there's many homes. I'm not the only one.
And the worst part for people like Kurt and Kim, who is already exhausted by a pandemic treating patients in an ICU, she feels like no city or county official is listening.
This isn't going to stop. This isn't going to stop because they're still having meetings and meeting and talking in the next 2 weeks. There's no plan still. We will do this every time it rains.
In Flagstaff,
We'll see what happens for the rest of the monsoon season.
Nicole, Grigg, ABC15 Arizona.